Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, Spurrier's expectations are not too good for the Gators. We're going to talk about that, and Cormani has committed. And I know a bunch of you Gator fans out there going,
no, here he goes again. He's going to talk about Florida, and Florida's his nemesis and all that kind of crap.
Okay, it is true. Florida is my nemesis.
Hello, Noman.
Hello, Jerry.
And Steve Spurrier is the worst of the bunch. He knows what he did. He knows. And we'll get into that in just a second. But 100 days until college football starts. So that's pretty exciting. We got all kinds of new stuff coming. We got the mics in the ears coming so they can call the plays in immediately straight to the quarterback. We'll also have a defensive player that'll have a helmet with the microphone inside. We're also going to have timeouts in the second quarter and fourth quarter, just like the NFL. So those two big changes. Also going to have computers on the sideline so they can look at the plays. You can have up to like 15 or 10 depending on the conference you're on. So we got a lot of changes coming. And the NCAA itself has so many changes, it's crazy. I mean, what's going on right now with the ACC and its possible collapse? We've got lawsuits with Clemson and Florida State. North Carolina is starting to rattle their chains. Their athletic director is under unbelievable pressure. They're calling in an audit because they're losing money hand over fist. And on top of that, we've got lawsuits like crazy towards the NCAA. House, Hubbard, and Carter versus the NCAA. They're trying to come up with a settlement. It's going to be a monster $2.7 million settlement.
Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money! Show me the money!
Dogs are sleeping with cats. It's anarchy. But today, let's take a look at Florida and what Steve Spurrier had to say. This is in UGA Wire. It says, Steve Spurrier's expectations have hit rock bottom for Florida. Talks about, of course, the Gators' struggle over the last 3 years. And they basically had 3 years of losing seasons. Now, Billy only takes credit for 2 of those, obviously. He's only been there 2 years. But when did you ever think you'd see the Florida Gators have 3 losing seasons in a row? It's shocking. And I can tell you the rest of the SEC is very sad about it. And they're hoping for a turnaround. But since they are where they are, Steve Spurrier's had a lot to say. Now, if you'll remember, about a month or 2 ago, he talked about this situation. And he said, there's a feeling around the Gators of what the heck are we doing? There's a lot of questions that I don't have the answers to about organization. He told Jacksonville.com, he said, just because you hire the most people doesn't mean you're going to win. All these extra people, I question how much that really helps. And if you've noticed, Florida has more coaches and trainers than you can shake a stick at. They've got as many of those as they do players. But they still can't figure out special teams for some reason. But now Spurrier's saying the anticipation and expectations are about the same as last year, but that doesn't mean it's bad. He said Billy Napier, got a bunch of new coaches, seems like they are going to be more demanding, makes the guys more accountable, seems like the leadership of Graham Mertz and some of those other guys is going to be there. Schedule's tough, but you know, everybody's got a tough schedule, etc. We'll wait and see. I picked them to go 8-4 and win a bowl game, and if we do that, we can do cartwheels and somersaults around here. We'll be a happy bunch of Gators. 8-4, and they're going to be doing somersaults and cartwheels. Did you ever think you'd hear Steve Spurrier talk about the Gators and say, gosh, if we can just go 8-4, we will be thrilled. We'll be doing cartwheels. This is crazy. This is rock bottom. And I know part of it's their schedule. Their schedule's brutal. If you haven't seen it, I'll show it to you. And it starts out tough. They got to play their nemesis, the Miami Hurricanes, who will absolutely be showing up with blood in their eye. I'm telling you, Miami and Florida, it is in-state rivalry. They can't stand one another. And it's going to be brutal. It's going to be a 3:30 kickoff, ABC. I'll be watching that ball game. I can promise you that. Then they're going to play Sanford. That'll be their one easy win of the year. They get 1. Most teams have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, depending on what conference you're in. They get 1. Then they got to play Texas A&M, which that's going to be an improved team. Very talented team. They've got a new coach there. That should be very interesting. I think that'll tell us quite a bit about the Florida Gators this year. It'll be a kind of an early test to see if they're going to show up this year. Okay, then they go to Mississippi. They should be able to beat Mississippi State. Then they're off. Then they got the UCF Knights. And I can tell you right now, UCF is going to play them as hard as any team they go up against all year. Again, it's in-state. They've actually got 3 in-state games this year. And if you know anything about rivalries that are within the confines of one state, it always turns into an absolute battle. Then they've got to go to Tennessee at Neyland Stadium. We will be waiting. That is a huge game, and I can tell you the entire state of Tennessee can't wait for Florida to come to Neyland.
And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
It is going to be raucous. I'm really hoping it's 7 o'clock at night. That way all the Tennessee fans will be properly motivated.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
No, oh no, sir. No.
Oh, yeah. We'll be waiting on them. Then they're going to play Kentucky Wildcats. For some reason, I don't know why, they struggle with the Wildcats. They beat Kentucky like 20 years in a row, and over the last few years, Kentucky's been whooping up on them. Shocks the crap out of me. Last year, they beat them bad. That's no easy game. Then the nightmare begins. Look at these last 5 games. Just look at them.
Oh, no. No.
Folks, I've never seen a second half of a season that is tough as that. That is brutally tough. And I guess that's part of why he's saying, gosh, if we could just somehow possibly get to 8-4, that would be amazing. But the Florida Gators, when they're on and they're playing well, like they were years ago, they would have busted through that schedule right there. They'd have won 4 out of 5 of those, and they would have wound up playing for a national title when Urban Meyer was there, when Steve Spurrier was there. But now it's a struggle. Now they're just hoping to win maybe 2 of those 5 ball games. That would actually be a success, I guess. And I think that's what Spurrier's saying. He said somehow win 6 of the first 7 and then try to win 2 more out of the last 5 and somehow get to 8. So he's just looking at the reality of what's going on in Florida. Now, they did pick up Cormani McClain, who was out of Colorado, a former 5-star athlete that's going to play cornerback. Now, Florida doesn't really need a cornerback right now. They got 2 cornerbacks who will probably be playing on Sundays, and that's Jason Marshall and Devin Moore. And the odd thing about this Cormani McClain thing is they don't even have a scholarship for him. They've already used all 85 that are allotted, so they're bringing him in as a preferred walk-on. Now, I'm sure they've got an NIL deal for him and got him some money. I don't know how much money, though. It can't be a ton because this is a young man that really struggled at Colorado. He didn't play very well. He got in the doghouse with Deion Sanders, not showing up for meetings on time, things like that, to the point that Deion suspended him. And Deion should have been a perfect fit for him. I mean, one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time is Deion. So this young man needs to mature and grow up. Now, Billy Napier's not going to put up with that crap. He'll put him off the team if he doesn't play by the rules. So I can understand why they took the risk on Cormani. And it's not like he was getting in trouble with the law and all that. He was just, I think he likes being a celebrity. And he thought, I'll just waltz in here. I'm a 5-star, and they'll put me out there, and I'll kick everybody's butt. Look, he's 6'2", weighs about 160 pounds. He needs to get in the weight room, and he's to put on about 10, 15 pounds of muscle if he's going to play in the SEC. This is not some small conference, thinks he can handle. This is the SEC. You are in the big leagues now, and nobody gives a crap how many stars you got. They're going to hit you and hit you hard, harder than you ever been hit in your life. So he needs to prepare himself mentally and physically and play by the rules, and he may turn out to be a good player. But if he doesn't, Billy will put him off the team, and maybe he can find a smaller college where he can get some playing time, grow up a little bit, and then come back to a big school later. It's going to go one of those 2 ways. And I'm not going to root against him because I don't like to root against a young athlete like that. It's got a lot of talent. You hope they turn it around and wind up being a good positive influence on their other teammates. We'll see how it goes. But it's nothing to get too excited about for Florida, and hopefully won't be a culture problem inside the locker room. They don't need that. And again, he would just, ask him to leave after that if it turned out to be that way. So anyway, Steve Spurrier is, I guess he's just kind of looking at it the way that it is. And it's got to be a little bit melancholy or sad for him at this point to realize that his team, his Gators, 8-4 is about as good as it's going to get. Yeah, I don't think he's real happy about it. But anyway, gosh, there's so much going on. 100 days, folks, 100 days. And between now and then, literally, a mountain's going to move on this NCAA settlement, money for players, and all of that. You can expect that in the next few weeks. There is a deadline. I think there's a couple of weeks left on it, and they're working like crazy to get a settlement. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's know to continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, hit this little button right here. It will not cost you a dime. Bunch of you watch my videos, you don't hit that button. It won't cost you anything.
Come on. Come on. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
And right over here is the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.